Hey YouTube, I'm James Duffy, the Abominable Snowman, and this is David Ducker. I'm here to take over this video just a little bit today. Me and Dave were just reminiscing over past campaigns, and I started talking about a party composition that I really sort of fell in love with. And the idea behind it is we have our party comp, and the DM actually created a counter group to us. So in our party, we have the charismatic character, we have the large, strong, muscly character, we have the dexterous, good shooting character, and we have the computer hacker. The sci-fi campaign, so it's relevant. And to contrast this party, he made the most fantastical group of individuals. So my character was female in this campaign. Now, I know some people like to avoid gender bending. It usually doesn't work out well, so I do understand that. But we desperately needed a female element in this campaign. And so I brought the fire. The contrast to my character was a horribly flamboyant man. Now, I don't use that with too much of a derogatory undertone, except for the fact that...
Just a little derogatory.
A little bit. And that's because the DM designed the character sort of to piss me off and sort of to make fun of me. Not to suggest that I was homosexual, but to suggest that being flamboyant is very obvious. And my character was female, so it was less obvious in terms of what my character was doing. But it's the same thing, manipulating people with sex. So there's a great contrast there between our two characters. And then he developed another character to contrast William's character, William being one-shot Roscoe, who never misses, or so he says. And to contrast this character, the DM just made a character that was better, was exactly the same as him, but better. And that's exactly what One-Shot Roscoe despises. He hates that. So in terms of design, just really starting to develop a really good group that we can antagonize back and forth with. And then again, we sort of take pride almost in their composition because it mirrors us. We become attracted to this group of individuals. It really sort of develops a good basis for a storyline. And then we had Black Iron, who was a blaxploitation in our party, which was perfect.
He was just a blaxploitation.
That is exactly
a blaxploitation style hero.
Yeah, no other dimensions. He was boisterous. He was always drunk. Not to say that black people are, but black exploitated people are usually.
Once you've been blaxploitated, you're on the bottle for life, son.
Yeah. And so we have him, and he's muscly, he's one-dimensional. He doesn't do anything except for get drunk and get in fights. And on their party, they had him all dolled up in a nice suit. He's this big muscle man. He's all delicate. Like, just, again, there's such a perfect contrast to our party.
Was he blaxploited?
No, he was sort of white-sploited, I guess.
White-sploited?
Yeah, because he was white.
How dare they?
Yeah. I guess in keeping with the sort of opposite.
White-sploitation.
He was white.
We're copywriting that. White-sploitation. Trademark.
And then we had Trevor, who was this fat and overweight, of course, sweaty, smelly guy, low hygiene, bad charisma, but very high intelligence. He's always hacking into shit, and he's actually probably the most beneficial character in our party. To contrast him, we actually had them have a worse hacker, just to sort of highlight Trevor, who was becoming more of a weak character within our campaign. So I just wanted to bring that up just to say that in terms of character design, it's not always about developing a unique character. That can definitely be very useful. But if you have something in mind for your character, something you want to bring out of the campaign, maybe an irony you want to highlight, maybe an organization that you want to bring into the foreground, you can design characters to not only bring forward a storyline element, but to bring forward an emotional concept to the rest of the party. And by doing that, you have all this social development within your player group, which can be like just so important. You know, it's like the kick in a soup, as opposed to just sort of a soup.
Yes, the broth. So this is a very popular archetype in comic books. The evil mirror, the foil, the Psycho Rangers. Superman has Bizarro, Batman has Killer Moth, or possibly Man-Bat, depending on your outlooks. We've got Green Lantern and Sinestro, and Star Sapphire. They're all very similar characters in their power set, their appearance, and their outlook. We get the Twisted Dark Mirror, You've got Tiger Mask and Black Tiger. You've got Ultimo Dragon and Ultimate Dragon, the rivalry that will never die. But this is metagaming to some degree as a GM, designing a character specifically to be the evil foil or the good foil of a player character's character. But as James has just demonstrated, metagaming is not always bad. It's only 90% bad. So when you get that 10%, and the players are grooving on it, and you're playing kind of a light-hearted, two-fisted, blaxploitation style pulp hero game, that can work really good. Bring in the evil doppelgangers. Bring them on, and then you get to pick apart all the little flaws of the characters and highlight, those areas where they actually do have some virtue that might have been overlooked. So James, do you have any specific anecdotes, specific events that really highlighted this mirror rivalry?
If I went into detail, I think I would lose coherency. I definitely have sort of an emotional backdrop in mind as I experienced that campaign, but I wouldn't want to ruin it through sloppy storytelling.
Yeah, I understand. It was a while ago. It was when was this? Like 2 years, 4 years?
No, it would have been, I think, 6 years ago.
6 years ago. So a gimmick of time, an epoch of time.
The important thing is it's stuck with me. So good storytelling is important.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'd love to hear if you out there in YouTube land had an evil doppelganger walking around someplace, possibly with a goatee of evil. That's +2 to evil. Or if you had, as a GM, used this against the players. Did they like it? Did they not like it? Did it work? Did it not work? Maybe you tried to make a doppelganger and it just didn't hit right. Kind of like the Undertaker versus Mordecai, where it was clear that Mordecai was just some trick-ass buster, and Undertaker was going to get him with the tombstone and the 1, 2, 3. And there was no doppelganger here. There was just a shadow of a man. But I think that's pretty much all I've got to say. I've never really used a doppelganger. I did play a superhero, Hercules Beetle, and he was basically a Power Ranger, and his Power Ranger group had broken up, so he kind of had 3 other characters very similar to him. I don't know if you quite call them doppelgangers, but ultimately the GM never used them. He put us on some shitty-ass railroad involving, I believe, a giant bee and Dr. Cloctopus, Master of Time, and it was really a waste of time, as Dr. Cloctopus will soon be forgotten, except in your deepest, darkest nightmares. But we never got to see Goliath Beetle, Scarab Beetle, or Stag Beetle, the country western beetle. But so I've never got to experience it myself. Do you have anything else to say about the mirror archetype before we sign off?
It's a great archetype, but you're right, it doesn't fit every campaign. It especially does not fit a fantasy campaign.
Well, it could fit superheroes in full plate, maybe like Jason and the Argonauts style, Castor and Pollux have elemental powers. Hercules has super strength, and it's superheroes in ancient Greece. Or if you're doing superhero pirates, or if you're just doing a really bombastic, ridiculous, Forgotten Realms style adventuring. If you're using Pathfinder and not taking the game seriously because you're using Pathfinder, then maybe this could fit in for you. And if you disagree with that statement and you believe that evil doppelgangers are a serious literary tradition, they should be respected, and they bring grit and realism, if you believe that, please leave a comment below, and I will thumbs you down, and you can thumbs me down right now. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to sign off, and I hope none of you come across your evil doppelgangers We all have one, and it's always good to keep a lookout for them. But should you encounter them, just remember that you are the true you, and the doppelganger needs to take a DDT.